Hello, I'm Manny Gonzalez, an author, motivational speaker, and licensed clinical social worker in the state of Indiana. But I've been retired for a few years. And I've continued to do research and studies and readings on mental health, particularly as it relates to stress. The name of my business is Speaking of Stress. And this current workshop is titled 3 Keys to Survive a Mental Meltdown. And one thing I did was I wrote a book. It's titled Burn Your Bridges, Don't Look Back. And in the book, I highlight issues, situations, circumstances that we face on a daily basis, that I've faced. I use my experiences as a therapist, a professional, along with my own life, my family background, my history from the day I was born in Puerto Rico, as we traveled, as we ended up in the U.S., and my many years dealing with post-traumatic stress disorder with combat veterans. Horrible situations that most people cannot understand or relate to, even though many of us experience post-traumatic stress disorder in different varieties, in different levels. Because things that have happened in the past that are problematic, that are traumatic, stay with us. And the way we interpret those, the way we react to those traumas is what continues to affect us today. And those situations at times garner so much of our mental energies that we stay living in the past. And that's not healthy. And it's not easy to overcome. That's why I've begun these programs. It's stress management related to how can we avoid that mental meltdown, which if you look around us, everywhere you go, people are experiencing horrible stress-related issues. We have so many problems in regards to depression, anxiety, panic attacks. And worst of all, if you've at all kept in touch with what's happening in the media, suicide is an epidemic everywhere you go. From little children to adults, teenagers, the elderly, suicide occurs every day, everywhere in the U.S. as well as the world. Last year, they estimate 50,000 people took their own lives. And that's only the ones that are reported. What about the attempted suicides? The people that talk about it. And a lot of us at times feel like, hey, what's the sense in living? I don't want to go on this way. Life is too miserable. I'm so sad. I'm so down. There's no hope. And I've dealt with those situations oftentimes in my personal life as well as a professional with patients, clients that have experienced so many traumas and situations. And the thing that I find is that even in my own life, and you think about it, does anyone really know what you feel, what you experience, what you're thinking? Even your best friends. And you know, in regards to these suicides, oftentimes best friends, family members, husbands, wives, parents say, I had no clue. They never gave indications. They never gave signs. People keep to themselves. They hold things in. They mistrust. They're afraid. They don't know how to express themselves, resulting in these situations where people are so desperate. And some of you may know people like that. You yourself may have been that desperate. I've gone, as I mentioned, through so many situations similar to that. But we must move forward. And that's why my book, Burn Your Bridges, was developed to assist, to help, to encourage you to leave the past behind. The problematic situations. Let's say you have guilt over something that happened, or anger at someone that hurt you, or disappointment at something that didn't work out for you. And you keep working on that. You keep holding on to it. Those tapes keep kicking in. I'm so angry. I'm so upset. I'm so depressed over that. I'm so anxious. And it's incredibly difficult to deal with that stuff. Matter of fact, want to know something? I just had contact with a lady. She's a psychologist. Been married to another psychologist. Two beautiful children. They both had a great home, great work. And one day, he took his own life. She was a psychologist, her husband's a psychologist, and he took his own life. What a horrible, terrible situation, and it happens, and it's happening all around us. If you look at statistics, if you do any reading or research, you'll find that every day, many people commit suicide. Many people think about it, and maybe many of them attempt it and don't complete the act. So it's a horrible problem that people go through because of things that have happened in the past that hold you back. That's why I've developed these 3 keys to survive a mental meltdown based on my book and my experiences. And it's not easy to leave the past behind, but something that helps. Research shows, I do a lot of research, people's lives, my own life, testify to the fact that one of the very first things we got to do is look at things that are spiritual in nature. What's in your mind? What's in your heart? What's in your soul? Things that are not seen. You see the way I look, my physical, the way I dress. People have impressions, first impressions, second, regarding what they see. However, there's so much of the unseen that people have no clue. And the only way that we can deal with that is through spiritual issues. Research shows that, again, research repeatedly shows those that attend to spiritual issues, those that think about things that are not physical in nature, things that deal with what's important to you. Hope. And one of the most important things besides hope is forgiveness. And as you're involved in spiritual natures, be it church, reading your Bible, whatever it is you do, I love to go to church. I love my Bible readings. I love singing choruses and songs. However, everybody's different. You have to do it your way. However, you've got to find a way to attend to spiritual issues. Another thing that's spiritual for me is being on the beach. I have lighthouses. I love being outdoors, walking and meditating. That helps me. That's spiritual in nature. And that's important. Attend to spiritual issues. And people that attend to spiritual issues have a higher level of functioning. Even though they have problems, they have situations, they can still overcome those by focusing on God, on your Maker, on your Creator, on whatever it is that makes you feel like life is worthwhile. And as I mentioned, forgiveness, we got to let things go, and we have to start forgiving ourselves. I'm sorry, dear Lord, for being such a goofball, for doing so many things wrong. You don't want to know my past. Some of you might. But things that we're not proud of, things that have hurt others, that have hurt us, we can let go of things if we say, Lord, forgive me as I forgive myself. Forgive others. And focus on love. Genuine, unconditional love for people. Nobody's perfect. We're all imperfect. That's the way we are. That's human nature. However, let's forgive each other. Let's forgive ourselves. Let's move forward. Let's stop living in the past. Let's focus on what God has for us today. Wake up in the morning and say, wow, this is a good day. Laugh a little bit. Be thankful. Work on those things that are going to make you focus on today and look to tomorrow. So your energy won't be so focused on the past. Even though those traumas have occurred, that pain has occurred, you can still overcome it. Otherwise, you're miserable. And you begin suffering with depression, anxiety, high blood pressure, diabetes. The list goes on. And worst of all, guess what the biggest killer in the entire world is? Heart disease. In the U.S. alone, yearly 15 million people die of heart disease. And what's the biggest factor related to heart disease? Ask your cardiologist. You know what he's going to say? Control your stress, minimize your stress. Everywhere you go, everybody's talking about minimizing your stress, because that causes problems with your heart, your blood pressure, your sleep. It affects everything. So as you consider and think of what I've said, begin to try to leave the past behind. It's not easy. Attend to spiritual issues. Focus on the good Lord, on nature, on things that make you feel good. There's hope. Forgiveness. Begin to write a journal. Talk to yourself. Meditate. Speak to yourself. Find somebody you can trust. And that's not easy to do. But you can always trust the good Lord. Believe that as you attend to spiritual issues, your life will improve. You'll have a reason to live. And it's so beautiful, it's so wonderful to see people that have overcome those situations. As I mentioned with that psychologist, that lady with the 2 young children, whose husband is a psychologist, took his own life. She's got a strong faith. She's got people around her. She loves the outdoors. So she's moving ahead. But she's hurting. She sees those children. She sees the face of her husband in those children. She misses her husband. She's lonely. You can't imagine what she goes through. However, she's moving ahead. She's refusing to allow the past to dominate her life. And she's a great example, as many of us are examples who have overcome situations, that life can be good again. It can be worthwhile. You can smile. You can enjoy your family, your kids, go out, vacation, have weekend trips, dance, sing in the shower, do things that are going to be positive. As I close my program, this particular segment, again, I'm Manny Gonzalez. I'm a therapist, counselor, social worker, retired. I'm enjoying the good life on the beach. Remember, burn your bridges. Let the past go. You can do it. Attend to spiritual issues. Your life will be greatly enhanced. You will feel so much better. And again, that hope, that unconditional love, that forgiveness that are key will start making your life a lot easier. You can contact me at speakingofstress@gmail.com. You can look up my website, www.speakingofstress.com. Or you can call me, 219-662-680-6252. Begin to attend to spiritual issues. Let the past go. Read my book. Thank you so much. I expect this was helpful to you, and I'll have more programs in the future. God bless you.